This time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm shifting gears and working on these two transmissions. I'm crawling. That's the old crawl ratio gear noise. Bam. What I want to do is I want to replace this rear shift tower. And I got one I got out of the old time junkyard. And what it is these two four-speed Model A transmissions have a reverse lockout with a lever on here where you got to hit the lever and pull it to put it in reverse. This is a newer top loader Ford transmission, probably shifter, probably from like the 40s, I would guess. And it's got the reverse lockout deleted, and the reverse is built right into it here. So I got this at the junkyard, and it was a complete ball of rust. There's holes here. There's shafts, there's pins that slide in these holes. This whole thing was all rusted up. Oh, here goes the bolt. This thing was one big rusted pile of rust, and I got some Vapor Rust biodegradable rust eater. I've been soaking this for a week. And look at this, it turned the thing completely brand new, ate all the rust off it, out of every single orifice, every which way around. It's freaking awesome. So what I'm going to do is pop this rear shifter out of here and slap this guy in and see if it's functional, and then I'll have a good rear shifter, because this one is all loosey-goosey. They cut the arm down and it's real sloppy, and that was the problem. I had this, I couldn't get it in and out of gear with the rear transmission, so I went looking for a new shifter tower. So I'm going to pull this guy out of here, we'll take a peek, and then we'll slap the other one in there and see what's shaking. Now I've already had this shifter out because I was cleaning the water out of the rear transmission. Let me bring you on over. I've already cleaned this out. It was half full of sludge and oil and water mixed together. And there's a little bit of surface rust on everything, but it's good. The two shifter forks go on these two collars here. Here's a reverse sliding rail. So this transmission, I think you might be able to see it here, also has an external PTO, which drives off the main shaft down below. And you put a lever and you can turn it in and out here, and then there's a shaft down here. You could run something off the PTO. Get this grunge out of here. Oh, there it goes right in the transmission. Dang it! Yeah, there. That was a mistake. A little dirt never hurt anybody, I guess. Yeah, there. So let's set this tower in and see what it looks like. Should go like so. Gotta get the reverse guy. There's the detent for that. Oop. Aha! Look at that! Bam! In theory, this should work. Now I haven't freed this up yet because it's been. Might take some work in here. These shafts might be still stuck, so I'm gonna. Come on, baby! Not getting any action yet. I'm gonna get a little brass drift. I'm just gonna tap these pins and get them. Make sure they're freed up. And what? Those look like caps to keep it from getting dirt in there. Those might be plugs. I'm going to take this over to the bench and see if I can get the shifter to function before I try to work it here, I guess. So I'm going to go do that. Alright, I'm over here in the vise. I took the shifter off and been spraying it with some thrust. And I'm getting some action. I'll zoom in and I'll show you. So the first shifter rail here I got broken free. Got the slider working real nice. These are seized right up when I started, so I've been tapping them with this plastic hammer back and forth like this and working it. But now I think since this one's freed up, I can start working this one like this. Just try to work it up and down. Then the third one here is the reverse pawl. I got to put a wrench on that. I got to work that back and forth. I'm just going to keep working these. I got to keep working them up and down and around, and eventually it'll free up like this one. This one's freed up nice now. So I'm going to keep working them, and hopefully I'll get all three freed up. This one's working nice now. Oh, that's a lot of scrunch on there. All right, after about an hour of monkeying around with this, I've got it all freed up. I got my, this is the reverse action here. I got that freed up. I got the middle shifter going. There's ball detents in here, which I didn't realize there's balls and springs in here, and they're all stuck. I finally got them freed up. So this is working. There's two detents on the center shifter, and then this outside one's got a detent too. So I got this all working now. I'm going to go ahead and slap it back in the Doodlebug and put the shifter in, and we'll see if it'll shift the transmission. All right, here we go. Let's try it. See if it works. See if it works. Bam! All right, let's try it. Oh, look at that! It goes side to side. Oh man! Woo! There's first gear, second gear. There's third. There's fourth. Reverse. Reverse should be over. That's reverse! Holy moly, it works! Alright, here we go, check it out. That's first gear. That's first gear. Now we're creeping. We're creeping super low. Okay, so how this is going to work with the two transmissions in line, this is essentially a 4-speed underdrive unit. So I've got my 4 speeds up here on the stock transmission. I got one up here to all the way to the dash. Second gear down here, then third up here to the dash, and fourth gear, and then with the reverse lockout, reverse is all the way down. So then the second transmission, I've got the same thing. I've got here's neutral, and then all the way over here there's a ball detent. Now instead of a lever, there's a spring-loaded pawl inside here on the backup lever. So I go all the way over here, and that's reverse down here. So there's low. So if you put both these transmissions in low gear, this thing will crawl super slow because you got whatever the first gear ratio is in this transmission. I'm not even sure what it is. Let's say 5-to-1. So you got 5-to-1, then you got another 5-to-1 back down here. So you got like a 10-to-1 crawl ratio. Being a real early big trucker end, this is probably like 6/13s or something crazy, or 7. Could be 7 something in this. So this thing should crawl super slow. And then if you want to, just drive it normally, you'd take this one, you'd put it all the way over in high gear, and then you'd use your 4 speeds here to drive it, because in high gear this is 1-to-1, so you'd essentially just bypass the second transmission, and you could run this through. You could be in high gear over here, you could high gear and be rolling down the road. So what would probably be a good thing to do is to use the front transmission as the regular 4-speed, and then just use this transmission as a range selector. I'm going to say that we're cruising around with this thing with the big back tires, probably in second gear on this one, would probably be good for a good cruising gear. And then when you really want to creep, you get out and you put it in low, and then you go from there. This sure was a lot of work to get this thing functional. I soaked it for a week in Evaporust, and then I spent, what time is it? 2 hours messing around getting these gates to work here on the inside. But this is awesome now because I can I can get this going. I got this shifter is pretty good. It's pretty tight for what it is. It everything seems to work good. There's reverse again. So I'm pretty happy with it. I pulled this off a transmission that was in the crusher pile at my favorite junkyard. The engine was literally going to be recycled, and I said, "Oh, hold on!" And I yanked this off, and here it is now on the Doodlebug. So this is awesome. We got 2 big 4-speed transmissions ready for action. All right, bam! Look at this. This could be an ad right out of a 1930 Ford truck transmission catalog. I got this fresh Ford green on here. This looks mint. I'm waiting on the gaskets. I ordered to put the new paper gaskets on here, but both shifter towers are painted. One's here, the other one's over there. Can you see it? Right there. So I go out and I truck. I got some gear oil. I'll grab that. We'll fill these up, and then hopefully tomorrow in the mail the paper gaskets will come, and we can bolt these shifters down, and the drivetrain will be complete. 8 forward gears, 5 reverse gears. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I got my gear oil, and I go ahead and ooh, it's thick. It's thick. It's magically delicious. So originally these transmissions had 600 weight gear oil in them, which is very, very stiff, and I put that in my tow truck when I built it. But in the wintertime it's extremely stiff to the point where the engine has a hard time even spinning the stuff when it's wet. So I'm going to put a mixture of 85-140 and 80-90 in here, because the auto parts store was almost out of it. I'm almost up to the fill port here, but I want to save some of the 85-140 for the front transmission. So I'm going to tap the back of this off 80-90 and then do the same thing in the front. Alright, I ordered some new paper top gaskets here from Snyder's. So let's go ahead and install the rear shifter like so. Just like that, bam! We're one step closer to be able to drive this. I've got to rearrange everything in the garage to get it outside, and we'll be able to take it for a spin. But first I've got to build a seat to sit on, so that's going to be the next step. I never did find the date on this rear transmission. I assume it's from about the mid-30s. The front transmission is November 1930 date on it. It's stamped on the top of the case up here under the shifter. It's also cast on the side of the transmission on the outside. I think I'm going to make some kind of rubber cover because I don't want water getting down in these. Obviously they would have been in a cab originally, and it's possible to be out in the weather on the Doodlebug, so I'm going to try and find some rubber boot that I can put over each of these to keep water out of the transmissions. But bam, there we go. We finished up the drivetrain here, and I'm going to give you a little history lesson on this rear end. This is a worm drive rear end. What it means is there's a worm gear, because it looks like a worm that goes on the ground, and the ring gear is down in this large round pumpkin. It's on the bottom. If you ever seen like deuce and a half army trucks or monster trucks where they have a round pumpkin on the bottom and a drive on top, that's a worm drive setup. But this is a Timken Detroit axle, a TDA, and I found some brochures. I'll put up a picture here in a second. But this axle was sold by the Timken company. I think it was developed in 1918 to be a truck industrial rear end, and they also had a smaller version, I think, for cars. But what you did is you ordered from Timken, you got this complete rear end drum to drum, which included, that's hard to see here, these rods go, the brakes are mechanical. There should be another set of rods on the front, but there's 4 brake shoes in the brake drum on this wheel, and they go all the way around the brake drum. You can see in the ad, when I put the ad up, you bought the rear end and the hubs, and then you had wooden spoke wheels laced to match the hubs. But I believe the rear end in this truck is about a 1918 era rear end, so this rear end's 100 years old in this Doodlebug. And I'm not sure of the gear ratio. I got to do some more information research and see if I can figure out what the gear ratio was. Who knows what this rear end was actually in? Some kind of truck, I would assume, but somebody cut it out, cut off the old brackets, welded it to the frame of this, and now we've got worm drive rear end from about 1918. And that's pretty cool. But just a cool little lesson on something you don't see every day. And I didn't know what it was, but I'm glad we figured it out. My buddy Chad helped me figure it out on the internet. But this is super cool. 100-year-old Timken rear end. So that's super cool. We got these transmissions restored, and we found the history out on this Timken Detroit America rear end. So next time, I think I'm going to try to rearrange some stuff here at the Quick Speed Shop because it's a complete disaster, and I'm going to see if we can get this thing to move under its own power. But first I got to build a seat riser, so I'm going to work on building seats. So maybe in 2 episodes we'll get it to move under its own power. I don't know, we'll see. So as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm going to put a circle big over there on the yellow tool bin. Go ahead and hit that. And I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so tell your friends, hit the bell for the alerts. And as always, we'll see you again with more awesome Doodlebug action at the Quick Speed Shop.